Welcome back, guys. We're out in the rain again and another woodland photography adventure, and I've remembered my cloth. What a treat. What a professional I am. So hope you are all keeping well, and yeah, since my last woodland video, if you haven't seen it, by the way, I'll stick it up in the corner. Honestly, I've just been obsessing over woodland photography a bit. I've been trying to find some more local woodlands that are attractive, and yeah, in that particular video, I mentioned that one of the golden rules of successful woodland photography, and as stupid as it sounds, is to find an attractive woodland. One thing that I didn't say in the video, which I'll try and sort of cover a little bit now, is what is an attractive woodland. So, you know, it's relatively subjective, because what I think's beautiful, you might think is rotten. So, but generally speaking, here in the UK at least, you want an ancient woodland, deciduous, broad leaf, especially with autumn coming up. You know, this particular forest that I found has got oak trees, silver birch, beech trees, and overall it all just comes together. It feels like it has this wonderful character. Absolutely buzzing. You can probably see off in the background. I mean, what time are we on? It's the afternoon, it's 2:30. But because we've got this kind of pretty heavy rain on and off, we're getting this sort of fog effect that keeps running through the... Oh, it's unbelievable. Honestly, I couldn't have asked for better conditions. Super, super unexpected. But anyway, I had a one-to-one workshop yesterday in this area, not in this woodland, but I came in early by myself to check out this particular forest that I found on my Ordnance Survey maps, and I tell you what, I'm so glad that I did. This is absolutely beautiful, and I've got a feeling I'm going to be spending a fair bit of time here over the next few months. But I've been wandering around for about 2.5 hours, and I finally got my camera out. I think I've just been walking around in awe, to be honest. This is spectacular. It just feels like it has all the ingredients that I've been after for years, really. It's quite hard to explain. I've come into this woodland and I'm just flooded with inspiration. I wish I could put it into words a little bit better, but I can't. Anyway, let's get into this composition. I'm just going to take a quick few shots now because the conditions are looking absolutely glorious. There we go. So I'm taking a pano. Okay, so I've got my 55 to 300 lens on, which I must admit I don't use too often. I think I should use it more in the woodland. I think it's a wonderful tool as it is in the wider vistas, just to hone in on areas of the scene that you want in your photograph, you know. Instead of shooting wide and just trying to get everything in all the time, and it works exactly the same in the woodland as well. So as you probably saw there, that's 4 shots from left to right. F9 ISO 100 and 1/2 of a second. That's exactly the same settings for every single photograph, and then when they get blended, so that when they get blended together, it'll be nice and consistent. I'm focused on, just got a drop of rain in the eye, lovely. I'm focused on one particular tree on the left hand side, and then it's the same focus point throughout the whole pano as well. Oh, absolutely wonderful. And yeah, I mean, you can probably see, look at it, we've basically got fog. Ugh, it's top drawer. Now there's 2 things before I show you this that I really, really want to mention, because I'm hoping you can notice this when you see the composition. 2 things that I've done deliberately. Firstly is what I call kind of sealing the composition, the borders of the composition. What I mean by that is making sure that there's nowhere for the audience's or the viewer's eye to be able to leave the composition. So for example, in the top, not like this scene obviously, but the photograph, when you see it at the top, I've got enough canopy so that there's no sky, so the eye can't just dart up. Same concept on the left and right. I've got a tree or a few trees in this case, so the eye's blocked. It can't leave the composition through the sides. And then at the bottom, you know, this beautiful sort of understory of ferns, these rusty orange coloured ferns. You know, we're getting up to late summer here in the UK now. which is amazing. You know, it's going to add a splash of vibrance to the bottom, but also it means that the eye can't leave the composition through the bottom. It's quite a simple concept. It's quite hard to do when you're in the woodland, but it's something that I'd really encourage you to try. And then the second thing is trying to have something in the middle of the frame, and in this instance, right off in the distance, where you're looking, it's probably around here somewhere. There's just a really nice glow coming down through the canopy, so it's actually light. That's the central element of this whole composition, so it gives the eye somewhere to finish, the audience's eye, which I really like. And I like it being in the middle because I feel like it gives it a lot more prominence, and in this case, because it's light, I feel like it gives the image a lot more depth as well. So if you can't tell, I'm pretty excited about the prospect of this composition. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that it comes out all right. I'll pop that one up for you to see now. I'll probably wait around here a little bit more because the fog or mist, whatever it is, the atmospheric conditions are kind of moving through the woodland as we speak, so I want to capture it at its peak. But yeah, really think about what I said about the ceiling and about the central element, and overall I hope you like this photograph. So the rain's coming down pretty heavy now, but we're really well sheltered in here. So it's actually, apart from the odd drop on the nose and eyes every now and again, it's incredibly pleasant and almost a bit kind of meditative, if that's even a word. You know what I mean? This is definitely my meditation in general, landscape photography, but I feel even more so in woodland. It's magical. I get completely lost in my own mind and in the photography, and it's like the outside world does not exist, which I'm sure a lot of you can agree at times can be a good thing. No, but it's nice to have this proper like extreme solitude, and the rain as well is keeping the fog hanging around in this kind of little valley here. It is beautiful, absolutely amazing. The fog's coming and going, but for the most part I find that really exciting because it transforms the woodland. You can look at a scene and it can look pretty so-so, you know, and then all of a sudden this sort of patch of fog or mist, whatever it even is, sort of rolls in and creates this drama and basically creates a scene that's worth getting the camera out for. So this photograph is in many ways going to be pretty much exactly the same as my first one in terms of, you know, technically I'm taking it and everything. 55 to 300 on the front. It's a pano from left to right. It's about 3 or 4 images, and very, very much. I've gone for many of the same things that I went in the first photograph, so I'm trying to seal it off. I've got a central component this time. I think it's a particular oak tree that's got a lot of character. We've got a lot of these beautiful rusty orange coloured ferns. It's working really well. I think the fog is probably making it, to be honest, but it's a lovely scene. I'll just bring my settings up. 1/6 of a second, f9 and ISO 100. Again, for each photograph, completely manual to make sure that it's consistent across. So when you're stitching that panel together in post-production, everything stays consistent. That's incredibly important. And of course, I've leveled out my tripod and everything. But yeah, there's not really much else to say with this one, guys. It's very similar to the first shot. I'm actually not far from where I took the first image. Hope you like it. Wow, so honestly, let me just get the focus on. I've just turned around. I've done like 180 degrees since when I last spoke to you. I don't know where to place myself, there we go. What a woodland, and the conditions, absolutely mega, completely unexpected like I said. Honestly, right, so I've stuck the 16 to 35 on the front. Like I say, 180 degrees, I've turned around. And we've just got this glorious scene behind where we got this stream running through up towards the top of this sort of little valley that we've got here. It's incredible. I'll tell you what, it's all about the light. I'd say the fog is definitely helping in this situation. It's very, very subtle, especially up at the top of the frame. But we're getting this beautiful glow down. There must be a gap in the canopy down into the scene. And with the stream itself reflecting a lot of that light, which is this nice kind of highlight that leads through the photograph. Oh, it's so pleasing. It just feels so nice to look at on the back of my LCD. So hopefully, you know, that can translate nicely to when I get it on my computer and I'm editing the photograph or whatever. But I think it's going to be lovely. So I am shooting this at, rubbish with my settings, should have been prepared, f9 ISO 100 and 1/3 of a second, but it's very simple. I'm not trying to create any effects or anything. It's all just to make sure that exposure is correct. It's the image at 1/3 of a second. It's a little bit darker than I would like. However, I need to make sure I don't blow out any of those beautiful highlights. You can see even on this shot here, it's really bright up there with all that light streaming down. So that's the reason it's going to be quite dark. Hopefully I can lift up them shadows enough to make it all nice and balanced. But yeah, we've got these, there's 3 oak trees just here to my right hand side, which are on the left hand side of this composition, and that's balanced nicely by this tree here that's going to be on the right hand side, and they're both on opposite sides of this stream as well. So it works so nice because the stream kind of takes you from the bottom of the frame through the middle and up towards the canopy, and most importantly up towards that beautiful light. Unreal. So what I'm going to do is show you this shot now, and I'm going to leave this section of the forest and start heading back towards my car, just to explore a bit more of the woods, or else I'm just going to be running around this area here. Hopefully I can get one more photograph. What a day! What a day! As I'm walking back to my car here, I thought I'd try and share a little bit of woodland advice, something that just popped into my head really. Usually, say if I'm going out on a hike or something and I'm not doing woodland photography, I'll always try and do a bit of a loop track so that I can see a bit more of the landscape, perhaps from a different perspective. It almost seems like a given to me, you know, if you can do a loop track and it takes the same distance as going there and back, the same route, why wouldn't you? In the woodland, I'm finding it's actually good to do the opposite. Retrace your steps. You'll find going back in the opposite direction, honestly, it's completely different. It's like you're going through a different woodland. You see things that you didn't see on the way in. Yeah, completely different perspective, which is only a good thing. I mean, look at that tree there in the background. That is amazing. I didn't even notice that on the way in. Buzzing about this woodland. Anyway, I'm not going to take any more shots for a couple of reasons really. Firstly, the fog has lifted, and as well, I just don't want to leg it around and just try and get loads of shots. I want to really take my time and enjoy this woodland, and I want it to be a real rich experience. I'm a bit of a headless chicken type, and it's something that I want to try and work on a bit and be a little bit more patient with my photography. Secondly, I've recently bought a new iMac, and it's been delivered today, and I'm really excited about it because it's going to help a lot with my editing process. So nice bit of consumerism for you at the end there, but I can't help my excitement. But anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed this adventure, and yeah, maybe that you got one or two tips as well. Cheers for the support, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Out.